Today I'm going to show you how to fix a tight upper back in 30 seconds. And I'm making this video today because I had a patient ask me just the other day, I have a very tight upper back and I've done all the things I know how to do. Is there anything else I can do? And of course, she had done all the traditional stuff. So I said, you know what? Let me make a video. I'm going to show you some unconventional ways to fix a tight upper back in 30 seconds. So stick around. If you've tried all the normal stuff, check these out. Welcome to the Anatomy of Therapy. I'm Dr. John Cybulski. I'm a clinician. I treat patients, obviously. As we go through these exercises today, I'm going to break down all of the muscles. I will tell you exactly what's going on and give you little tips and tricks and techniques and tell you all the things so that you can get a loose upper back in about 30 seconds. Let's get into it today. So what I'm talking about in upper back is kind of that area right there. So this is how upper backs get tight. And this is what I want to talk about with pulling your shoulders back, right? Pulling your shoulders back will tighten up the back of your muscles. So what is it that we do to loosen those muscles up? Well, we don't do a handstand because that's crazy. But what I'm talking about here is opening up the back. So you'll see in this position, he's coming down from the handstand. This is insane. This is Roy Goldschmidt. Okay, so in this position, right through here, you'll notice these shoulder blades start to go outwards, right? You'll notice his shoulders are very stable on the ground, and you'll notice his spine is going backwards. This is what I'm talking about in terms of opening up the upper back. You can open up the upper back and round it just a bit, put your shoulders in a good position, and it really opens up this back, okay? This is what we're going for today. To open up the back, let me show you. I've got 4 different ways to do it. I think this is the last. That's one of the last. If I was you, I would start with this one, okay? So this is the first one you want to do. We'll kind of just go through the video, and then you can kind of see what's going on. So what we're doing here is you've got the weight or a band connected to something. Your arms are straight. You're allowing it to kind of pull your arms out, kind of like in this exercise, right? Because we're trying to open up this back in this position, except you're letting the band pull you forward. What you're doing here is more like the cat camel, right? Where you kind of are going segment by segment. So if we back this up, he starts by bending his neck forward. He's bending all of these, and then what he's trying to do is really set, here's the best point. Oh, come right back. He's trying to set one segment down at a time in the back, and then he's going to do the next one, and then he's going to do the next one, and then he's going to do the next one, right? You can see as he goes all the way down, and then he slips kind of a big chunk. Anyways, but that is the key. These are almost like reverse abs. And in fact, you should feel as you pause and breathe in this position while you're pulling, this tense and it opening up your back exactly like this exercise, exactly like Roy over here, where the back can go from all the way to a tight position or to an opening position. And that pulling apart of the shoulder blades, that expansion of this upper back is what we're going for. Maybe not doing a handstand, but we're allowing this to pull us, and we are basically just pushing back here. This is by far, this one is money. If I remember doing a back day at the gym, I will usually finish by doing some heavy kind of uncurls. That's what these are also called, uncurls, because obviously you're uncurling. But the mechanics here, you're throwing your spine backwards, opening up the rib cage. Think about pushing your sternum back. The sternum is this bone kind of right in the middle of your chest. Think about pushing that backwards, letting your arms get pulled back. Now, you're not going to stay. This is probably the easiest and best one, right? The next hardest one, and this is where I would start to progress. So if you get a little bit of benefit from these stretches and exercises, you need to add either some tension, some repetition, or some progress into your exercise to maintain it. You always need to try to progress it a little bit. So if you get a little bit of benefit from this, I know you will, try to go to the next level of it. So the next level of this banded one would basically mean that you have, say, 40 pounds on your rack. Maybe you then put 60 or 80 pounds on the rack, or you get a heavier band to kind of pull you back. You need to add more tension to progress any benefit that you got. So if you get benefit from this, great, fantastic. You need to add tension, you need to add time, you need to add reps. The time, by the way, the 30 seconds in the start of the video is typically how long it should take you to slowly roll back such that you are trying to feel each little part of your low back and then breathe and control it. It's going to take you 30 seconds to rock back. Anyways, here's the next level of it. If you don't have the band, that's fine. You may not have a steel mace or the on-it kettlebells back here either, but that's okay. This is what you do if you don't. You put your hands out to the side and slowly allow yourself to go down, okay? It's the exact same mechanism as before, but you're really working on tucking this back, right? You're really working on trying to push this spine down into the ground, okay? That is what you're doing. The arms are just for support, okay? So you let yourself go back down. Many of you will be able to do this. This is obviously a really great ab exercise. So I'm not only sneaking in, fixing a tight upper back, loosening up an upper back. Your shoulders, this is a great shoulder mobility as well, but you're gonna figure out, kind of like 2 videos ago, your relationship to your abs and your posture and your thoracic spine and your shoulders. Anyways, as you go back slowly, you should definitely feel your abs. It's an uncurl. You're eccentrically unloading it. Okay, so this is the next level. Keeping your arms out, no support on the ground. And again, you see how slowly we are uncurling down towards the ground. In this one, these arms are basically just helping to balance you forward. He's squeezing his fist so his shoulders are tight. He's trying to create a lot of tension in one little moment. So another way to think about these exercises is how well do you store energy? So what happens between these shoulder blades is that we do not store energy well there. As we sit, as we curl, a lot of times those joints just start to rest on top of each other. So it's not exactly a joint on joint, but there are very tiny little nerves basically in between your shoulder blades in this area back in your body that can, once they get compressed, they can be super gnarly and very painful. So you want to teach your body to create load back there. You want to store energy in an opening position. That's right, not an open position, but an opening. So it is eccentrically opening. You're not going to stay in this kind of curled position. It's not bad posture. It is an opening position. You want to get from one end of the spectrum of movement to the other end of the spectrum of movement, right? And so we want to make both ends wider. Sometimes I'll tell patients, like, especially if you're in pain, it's like you're driving a car down the highway and the lanes are very narrow and the walls are very narrow. So any little mistake that you make, you'll bump up against those sides, right? Exercises like this are not telling you to have bad posture. They are opening up one side of the lane. They're getting your mid back to expand, like Roy over here. If you want backs like Roy, do this exercise. You get it. Okay, anyways, so the second one was he's holding his arms forward and then he's slowly going back, right? So these are the 2 if you don't have any weight. The last one is if you do have weight, you see him going back, blah, 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 you get it. The last one is, and this is a super hard one, what you're going to do is hold the kettlebell well in front of you. Here we go from the very start, and that's nice. Okay, so you're sitting straight up. He also doesn't have his knees bent on this one. So this is going to be extra hard because he's not going to get that much support from the pelvic floor or the hips on this one. So this is probably the most advanced, unless you're going over to this one, of course. But going over to this tough one here, you're going to hold that kettlebell, and that's a 20-pound kettlebell, 22, 25, something like that. So he's going to round first. And then he's going to try to keep that kettlebell the same distance ahead of him, okay? So this is kind of like a goblet squat hold. And as he goes back, we've already rounded all the way through the back. He's starting to push through here, and he's looking for that bottom segment as well as he goes back down. The weight is going to stay in front to counterbalance, to help him go slow, to help him go 30 seconds. He's going really fast on this one. This is not a 30-second back fix. This is not clickbait, YouTube. This is the hard part, coming back up. And the same thing is happening again. We're talking about segmenting, right? So let's see if he segments. Well, I'm going to slow this down into slow motion. He's coming up here, and you'll see him segment joint by joint by joint. Ooh, there's a little bit of a hiccup there. So, and you can see in that area, there's a little bit of a flat space, right? So you may feel this as well. This is very common for patients or people trying this exercise. You will feel a joint roll and a joint roll, and you'll be like, cool, I got one, I got another, and then it'll clunk up like 5 or 6 joints. It's fine. Just work on getting those joints to hinge. It's not, these are the areas that you can kind of improve. There's nothing wrong with it, but you'll see how he comes up and he'll just kind of, instead of going one joint, then all of a sudden, whoop, he takes off kind of there, right? Let's see if we can see it again. So watch this. He's going very nicely. The neck joint, rolling it up like the cat-cows. Each segment of the spine going upwards. All right, there you go. There's a big kind of hop through the back. That's all of it. But there's one that's coming up right there. And so there'll be 2 or 3 segments that kind of get stuck together and move all together. You want to work on this long enough so that you can get each segment to kind of unhinge and rehinge. Okay? So sitting back, going through each segment, so you're basically opening up the discs. You're opening up your back. You're creating space in your back. It's very important. And then you're controlling that motion. Not in slow motion because it's going to take forever, guy. But then you're slowly controlling that opening of your back, right? So you're creating tension and strength in all sorts of positions. And then if you can come back up, joint by joint, then you have it in both directions. That's all I got today. I'm already struggling. Welcome to the Anatomy of Therapy. Hit the like button. Do all this stuff. If you have any questions, yes, I see patients all the time. You guys ask great questions. Leave a comment below. I'm happy to answer your questions. Peace. Have a great day.